Welcome to another episode of First Line Secrets with Christoph and Teresa Puckett. And I know it's not common or it's not polite to say to name ourselves in the first place, but this is how the name is, right, T?
That's it. That's it. We have to tell it as it is.
Yes. So welcome. Today we have very, I guess it's one of the perhaps the biggest like disease on earth. Yeah, we speak about one of the biggest misunderstanding with yourself, with your body, and of course, yeah, especially with your emotions. This is what we are doing today.
Yes, I am very excited to get into it because I know a little bit based on our previous discussion, but it's definitely something that I see all around me all the time. And I used to do it all the time as well.
Yeah, I did as well. And it's not that long time ago that I got conscious about this. I heard about this phenomenon a lot of times, but sometimes you experiencing and hearing stuff, and at one point it's like click, and then you get it. Yeah, I can't explain, but we all know that, I guess, that you experiencing something a lot of times, and but at some point you really get it. You really understand it deep in your body.
Yeah, in a very different way. So, okay. So I'm sure everybody is very
Yeah.
excited to hear what this is. Let's let the cat out of the bag. What are we talking about?
Yes. So I'm looking at my notes sometime.
Yeah.
Um, that's why I'm looking down. So it's about emotions that we feel from others and how we deal with that.
Mhm.
So might sound easy, but this is for me, it's one of the biggest trap that you can get in, that we can get in. So, and it's about I guess we will do a lot of examples, but it's when you meet someone and someone is confronting you with a big emotion, and it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what it is, if it's sadness, if it's guilt, or whatever emotion. And I guess it's most of the time for the people who are very open, who are very empathic, they feel this emotion and they get this emotion in their self, and then they are confused about the fact, is it my emotion or is it the emotion of another person? And most of the time, when you are not conscious, when you're not aware, you think it's your emotion, and then you try to deal with it. And what happens is that most of the time people take responsibility of these emotions or these emotion. So it's like you are acting and trying to get rid of this stuff
Mhm.
only because you feel the emotions of someone else.
Okay. So it is, I think there's other separate things, but what we're talking about is when you feel it from someone else and you are trying to maybe like if it's say it's anger or say it's real sadness, like something negative, and then you're trying to solve it and take away their burden. Is
Yeah,
that
exactly. And this burden has so many faces. For example, you talked about anger. If someone is angry, and people are, it's like, I guess, so just to take a step further and then come back, it all goes back, of course, to your childhood, as all the time, when you try to harmonize with your parents. So you are doing whatever they are doing. So because you want to be part of the group, you want to be part of the tribe, you want to be part of the family, you want to be safe, you want to be, yeah,
Love, acceptance.
love and
Yeah.
harmony with the family. So if someone is angry, you will be angry too, and blow in the same horn like, yeah, uh, life is hard and it's unfair and whatever. You learn that as a child when your parents speak like this. So this is where it comes from. So, and that's why it's so hard to just let someone be angry, for example, and not being angry as well, or taking the angriness and trying to transform it, or trying to, like as T said, like to solve it, as you said, like, hey, to try to calm the person down. Perhaps this person is trying to get attention or to get love by being angry. So this is like how we are trying to solve and fix things. And again, this happens to you when you are very open, which is a good thing. And we're speaking about like the good stuff and yeah, how to deal with that later. But this is what's happening, and finding a solution, as T said. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love what you said about, maybe you said with your parents, you maybe learned when they're angry to like, yeah, and like it's sort of like yeah, like being part of the tribe, singing the same song, feeling
Yeah.
the same way is one potential response, and another potential response from the same like blending is to maybe try to solve it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like there's just one response, right? There's lots
Oh,
of
no,
different
no,
ways
no, no,
this
no,
thing can
no,
show up.
no. But whatever response you take, T said it perfectly fine, I guess. I think you sing the same song, or you try to solve it and to calm the person down, to try to calm the person down. But the reaction is the same, because you are taking responsibility for whatever emotion comes to you.
Mhm.
So, and I want to give, this is like an easy example when someone is like angry, because that is easy perhaps to differentiate, like, okay, because the magic question is always, is it mine? Is this emotion mine? And your body will give you a clear answer for sure. And if not, we will talk about later about how you can get more consciousness and stuff. But first of all, this is the magic question, like, is this mine? So, and it's getting more confusing or more difficult when, for example, you are meeting an ex-partner. So, and suddenly you feel in love again. Yeah, you feel like, oh, wow, perhaps I shouldn't break up. Perhaps we are made for each other, because I feel like I love him or her, still love her or him, and this
Yeah.
is like hard to understand. And even if you're asking the question, is this mine? It could be like a remembering, and how do you say that better? And remembering of your body about times you spent together, for example.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think boomerang is the right word, but it's sort of like nostalgia.
Yeah.
You remember it and it's almost like you just slip back into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then it's getting confusing, because you think like, oh, wow, perhaps I still love that person. And what about my current relationship? Am I with the right person? Is that still fine? And perhaps some people feel bad and avoid this feeling because they think like, okay, no, I'm staying with my partner. I don't know how you say that
I'm
when
loyal. I'm
loyal.
loyal.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm loyal and whatever. So without being aware of what's going on, there will be a lot of confusion, and you can get like in fights with your current partner, or in doubt with yourself, and perhaps you're not speaking about it with your partner, but your partner is like feeling, oh, something is different or is going wrong, and then it's like, hey, why do you feel so weird, or what is it? And then perhaps you say like, yeah, I met my ex-partner, and then your current partner is like, oh wow, she or he is still in love with the ex-partner, only because the other person has feelings
For
and,
you.
and you took it. Like
Yeah.
you took it, and you think it's your feelings, so it's your emotions. So this is why I say, especially when it comes to relationships, it is so important to be aware what is mine and what are the other person's emotions.
Yeah.
So
So in this case, more consciousness about this kind of a thing is almost the same thing as clarity
yeah,
about what's yours versus what is theirs, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, I guess one big part, or there are three steps, I guess, or three things, I guess. The first thing is, and you know it now, is to know about this phenomenon, like that emotions hop in ourselves. And this is, by the way, I want to pick up this now. This is good, especially when you are that open, because there is a reason why you are that open, because you need to be empathic to help other people.
Mhm.
So the first thing is like, if it's good to know about this phenomenon, and now this,
Yeah.
like you have the possibility to be aware of it. The second thing is like, ask the questions. Ask the question like, is this mine?
Mhm.
And the third thing is to get on a level, and again, we will talk about this level, to get on a level of consciousness that is so high that none of these two things are needed anymore, because it's like, oh yeah, I got it.
I can
I
see it
see.
so clearly. I can see it so clearly. It's fine.
Yes.
I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see, I feel it, or it's like, I feel it without feeling it. This was my feeling when I realized it, and I was confronted with the emotions.
Mhm.
That was one of my biggest parts, by the way, I have to learn dealing with emotions.
Yeah.
And this was the one of the biggest steps I made. Like, even if someone very angry or very sad or very in love with me, or very whatever emotion I was confronted with,
Mhm.
when I got to the point, like, I hopped on a really different level of consciousness. It was like, oh wow, I can see. It was like feeling, yeah, this is my explanation, like feeling it without feeling it. I see it so clear. I see what's happening. Like, I stepped out of my body and see what's happening, and what the person was feeling, but without getting on this train, getting on this
Yeah. Without
track.
getting hooked by it.
Yeah,
Right.
hook, that's the right word. Thank you, T.
That is
So,
awesome.
and that's the like the yeah, the next level, because this is the thing. If you are fine, T, to go to the next
Sure.
point.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
cool. Um, the big gift is like, when you are realizing this, and when you are like aware of it, when you are that conscious about that, what's happening, there is a big opportunity for the other person. Because what happens when you take responsibility for the other person's emotions, it's like they getting rid of it, they get like
They feel comfortable. They feel great, right?
they feel great. And they're like, yeah, I don't have to deal with that. I'm giving you my trash, and that's it. But when you are like staying by yourself without closing your shutting your emotions, your heart down, or protecting yourself, like okay, I don't want any emotions touching me, because this is like, then you are dead, right? Because then you are not able to feel the good stuff. It's like letting the emotions through you, like, oh yeah, I see what it is, but then it's gone. No resistance.
Yes. Like, because you can see, you can feel it's not yours and you're not resisting it and it just goes through you
Yeah.
and you're good. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess this is what I was looking for like a minute ago. I feel it for a moment, but then it's it goes through me. So
Mhm.
it's like, ah yeah, it's that, and then it's gone. So the gift is, if you are letting it through, you know what's going on with the other person super clearly,
Mhm.
and then you can like just let the person be with that, with their emotions.
Yes.
And that is where they have to deal with their emotions, and they will be able to heal whatever is related to these emotions. You give the possibility to heal, and not to give it away again and again and again and again.
Yes. So I have two questions about that. Um, the first question, is it okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me just one
Oh,
sentence,
sure, yeah.
because, and this is like, and this is of course better for you self as well, because you don't feel the pain, you don't feel emotions that don't belong to you. So, and this is a great example for like, I do what's good for me, and it's good for everybody, right? Because I'm taking care of myself, but just letting like foreign emotions through me, and the other person has the possibility to heal. So I love that, because this shows when you're taking care of yourself, you always take care of other people. Always, always. So
Every
now
time.
my thoughts are clear and fine. Thank you, T.
Excellent. Absolutely. Absolutely. So is it the analogy that comes to mind when you say, you know, you're giving the other person the opportunity to heal is it's almost like if you're going with your buddy to the gym and your buddy, you know, is like, "Oh, I can't lift this much." And you say, "Oh, that's okay. I'll do your lifting for you." And you're doing all the lifting for them, and then they feel great in the moment, but they're not getting stronger. They're
No,
not really growing, they're not really developing. And you know, that's probably not good for you either, because you're doing too much
yeah.
and you're unaware, whatever. But it's really about them. You're not helping them like you think you are. Is it kind of the same thing if you're doing the heavy emotional lifting for someone, they're not
I
able to grow?
I love this imagination, because for me it's exactly like this. It feels like, oh wow, you know, it's so easy. It's so easy. But T, what happens when you left?
When
You
what?
are gone when you
Oh,
left, and you're not
and then it's
helping
like,
anymore.
boom, I can't do anything. I can't do
So you
anything. I
are,
need
yeah,
you.
this,
I feel
yeah,
not enough. Yeah.
yes, because then these burden, this heaviness is coming back to you as well. And you know, I want to give a perfect or a real, from real life example. And it was from a client. And this client um, has it was a woman, and she has a half brother. Half brother.
Mhm.
So the mother was the same, but different father. So half brother. And, you know, and she felt like something was wrong in their relationship. And this half brother, they were living together for, I guess, like 28 years. So uh, when the woman was 4, the half brother was born, and he immediately lived with the family. So from the beginning, from birth.
Mhm.
So but she felt like there was too much intimacy. Like, for example, when they hugged, it felt like, hey, that's like too long or too,
It doesn't feel right for a brother.
yes, like,
Mhm.
and she talked about it, and she said like, hey, I feel uncomfortable. Let's take this example, like hugging you for such a long time or in this way. And then he said like, yeah, but we are brother and sister. And then she was like, no, we are half brother and half sister. And then he was like, oh, wow, I feel hurt now. Please give me a hug and stay with me and support me. And she was like, no, I don't feel comfortable to hug you.
Mhm.
So, and he was like, yeah, but we are brother and sister, and he wanted to stay with that. And he went angry, like, yeah, what are you doing? You changed.
Mhm.
We were so close all the time, and which was fine for brother and sister, but not for half brother and half sister. So, and then she stayed with her opinion, like, hey, this feels weird. So, and they were talking for half an hour, and he always insisted to be hugged and understood. And so, and like, it's all about life, it's all about love and whatever. But she said like, no, I'm sorry, I feel weird and I want to talk about what is it. And she wanted to, so she stayed with her opinion. And what happened after half an hour, he was crying. And then he said, and not complaining and blaming
Her.
to the
Yeah.
woman, her. And then he said, like, I always felt like I'm not with the family, and because my father left. And so he got a really like a breakdown, completely breakdown. And he spoke about his father who left, and his situation in the family all the time, and that he always felt like not as a family member, even he was.
Mhm.
So he named so many triggers and so many things. And
Wow.
then he was like, okay, I have to leave. And I respect your decision, like not hugging me that long and blah, blah, blah. And he left.
Mhm.
And it took 3 days. And then he said, like, hey, thank you for staying with your opinion, because I'm clear now about my triggers and what happened, or what I was worrying about, or where I was hurt about my father, about the family, and whatever. And
Wow.
then it felt right again, like to hug him in a normal way. And and just to make sure it was not about like a sexual thing. It just felt weird, like
Mhm. Mhm. Just
not
felt
not
wrong.
fitting, false,
Mhm.
yeah. So, and this is what's happening when you stay with your emotions and you differentiate and you say like, yeah, I understand you, but I'm not going to hug you because you want to hug me, but I don't want to hug you right now. And I don't want to take your burden, and I don't want to take that. And I don't want to take responsibility for your emotions. I'm helping you by being
Being
clear,
true.
be true to myself, staying in my energy, staying with my emotions. And I feel all the pain you have, but it's not me. It's not that I'm a bad sister,
Mhm.
and I don't want to hack you. It's about that you have whatever.
That is a great example.
Yeah.
I love that example for many reasons. One of them is that it was an example of the woman being true to herself, which is very, it's not what women are conditioned to do
Yeah.
usually in the world. It's like, taking care of everybody else. It's one thing to take care of your child when your child is so small, can't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
But it's not that. That's not what we're talking about. This was,
No.
equals and taking care and taking that responsibility and ownership is sort of what, in general, women are conditioned to do. So I love that she was very clear and stayed with herself, but she also listened to him and they had a great conversation for a half an hour.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, no, get away from me. It was,
Exactly.
no, what's on your mind?
Yeah, but this is the difference between shutting down and saying like, I don't want to hack you that way, and that's it. End of discussions is like, I want to talk about that, and I think that something is wrong. And then, he wanted to avoid this pain, so he wanted to just come closer again, and you know was about like having this how do
Like
you
a
say,
bond? Yeah.
intimacy that
And
was missing from his dad. He wanted, but this is not the responsibility of the sister, right, of the half sister. It's
yes.
the responsibility of the father, and to be honest to yourself, like, okay, this is what I really missed.
Hmm.
For example, that was one part of it. Yeah. So,
So
and for example, just to give another there, because there are so many things. And when we talk about like a missing father, it's always about like a strong energy, right? The man energy is like a strong man energy, like
grounded.
yeah, like a tree. And that was what she did. She stayed with her energy, in her energy. And that's why he had like the safe space to open up, but without like, it just, you know, this is
That
what you just to be clear, because he said it already. We are not talking about children. Children, you need to hug as often as they like, as possible. You need to. They
they need
even
it. They
need
need
this
it.
intimacy. Sorry, yeah.
They need it. Yes.
We talking about adults, like 21, let's say, to make it sure, 80, 18, or 21 plus. All
Mhm.
right, just to make it sure, because we are not talking about children. This is like the hell for children, and so it's, yeah, they need
Yeah.
that.
I have something else. This was my second question, but it's better now than before.
Mm.
So in that example, she was able to stay and he was also able to open. But even if she were able to stay and say, what's on your mind? There's very much the possibility in the world, right? That somebody would just say, oh, never mind, get away. You don't want me, so fine, I don't want you.
Yeah.
Bleh, and kind of do that kind of thing. And then again, just as the typical woman like conditioning, right, is like, oh, well, then I feel guilty, like,
Mm.
oh,
Mm.
what have you, like, so
Mm.
it's almost like a double whammy, like it's a lot of emotional, I'll say maturity, but it's consciousness. It's not immaturity, really. It's more the clarity and the willingness and the strength
Yeah.
to stay with your own, even if the other person wants to then go talk trash about you to somebody
Yeah,
else. Oh, well,
yeah,
she wouldn't like even let me hug her. I'm only her half brother. Ugh.
yeah. This is like I said, as I said, like you give the other person a possibility,
Yes. Yes.
and it is not your responsibility if this person is taking the chance to do that. So, and I know at first it's very uncomfortable when, or could be when you are conditioned in that way, when you just staying with yourself and you notice like, oh, okay, you know, but if someone is angry at you and it's and blackmailed you, emotionally blackmailed you, it's like it's a sign for, oh, I poked in the right in the right spot. So
True.
so this is like even more a reason to stay with it. And if you are triggered, please go away, leave the other person with their emotions, and then you can cry, you can speak with someone else,
You can breathe. You can do some
you
slow meditative breathing, right?
whatever you need, you can hit a punch in your pillow, you can do whatever, but please leave and let the other person with their emotions. Otherwise, you feel like, I don't know the exact word, but you feel so used. You
Mhm.
feel like that you were used.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
And kind of entangled, right? Like you need
yeah,
to get your own space so you're not still mixing energy and being entangled
yes.
with them. Mhm.
And because then you will feel super bad afterwards if you, yeah, if you connect with this person that was like blackmailing you or tried to blackmail you. And so, and again, the more conscious you are, the more easier it is because you are not, it is like, for me, it's like always like you see yourself being in this situation from a more outside position, seeing, oh wow, that's what's going on. And even if you are triggered by yourself, you can see it as, oh wow, I'm triggered now, I better leave now. But the hell, I will not take responsibility for these emotions that are not mine. So this is like how I feel uh, with consciousness in general. It's like
Mhm.
zooming out. You
Yeah.
know what's going on. You see yourself. You are in a situation. That is, by the way, a big spiritual misunderstanding. Being conscious and being super conscious and being enlightened doesn't mean you are not in difficult situations anymore.
Right.
This is a lie. This is not true. It's like being aware and being conscious about what is going on. Even if you step in the trap and take responsibility and you are conscious, you see what's going on. You're seeing what's going on, and you're seeing like, oh wow, I'm not able to resist. I'm not strong enough yet.
Hmm.
So please, guys, please uh, don't judge yourself and don't put yourself down if you step into traps, if you're doing mistakes, if you, because the thing is like being more conscious, knowing what's going on, and then it's fine. And then the next time you're realizing it earlier, and then you will avoid any, or like you being warned earlier, and you can say like, yeah, not again, this trap, yeah, not again. I will hear that, but yeah.
Absolutely. So it's I loved the hand motions that you were doing. And so of course, if you're watching the YouTube, right, or a video, you can see what we're doing with our hands. But for
Oh yeah.
for the podcast, if you're just listening, my imagination with enlightenment is always, you know, the guru on the mountain and being very elevated. But that's not what Christoph was doing with his hands, all about elevation. To me, it was a little bit more like the opposite of zooming in with your camera, like on your phone. When you're zooming in, it was like zooming out like a panoramic,
Yeah.
being able to see more, but not being like some kind of elevated, you know, perfect
Yeah.
being, just being able to see more and have a
Yeah.
different perspective.
Yeah. And I remember, by the way, it is a funny story as well, but it's also a story that I realized now that someone was not taking responsibility of someone else's emotions. I was working as a golf teacher, and I saw a fight between two persons who were fighting about, doesn't matter, too difficult to explain to non-golfers. So fighting, and one person was yelling at the other person, and really with hard words, yeah, like asshole and whatever, like, and you are a, and this guy always was saying anything, like nothing, completely silent. And this guy was so angry. And I was a golf teacher, and I was about to step to these guys to say, hey guys, like just calm down and whatever. And then the one person who was super angry asked the other person, like, you don't want to say something about what I said, so what's going on? And he said, like, I don't know exactly what you're saying to me, but one thing is sure, you are not relaxed. So, and of course, he was even more angry after that, but he was completely in his zone. And of course, he like triggered and provoked the other person, but he was not taking this angriness to himself and fighting back. He was completely in his own energy zone. I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
don't care what he's saying. Even really, and this was the nicest words with asshole. Yeah. He
Oh,
was
wow.
like, hey, he's saying this to me, but this is his problem
Right.
because I'm not angry.
Right.
I just did what I did. So
Right. That's
I'm fine.
amazing. He was not attached at all. He was not
Yes.
getting hooked or attached to any of
Yes.
that.
Exactly. I mean, he was also not helping the other person calming down,
Yeah.
but it's about the like the attachment is about not being hooked and
Yeah.
staying in your own zone. And you know, sometimes it's about that.
Mhm.
Just say anything.
I'm sorry.
Just sometimes it's helping. Just say anything. Just say nothing. Don't
Oh,
say
don't
anything.
say anything. Yep. Yep.
Don't
Yep.
say anything. Like just listen, even if some person says like, and you are doing this, and why are you not hugging me? And what and you know,
Mhm.
just to let the other person in their energy, because it's just you're saying like, oh, seems that you are processing something, or
Right.
that's it. You don't have to answer, you don't have to explain, you don't have to give excuses.
Yes.
Even if people are asking, like, you know, I know this is like kind of a situation that happens a lot of times. Like, hey, I invited you, and you didn't come, and
Yep.
then people always step into this trap and say like, yeah, I was busy, I was this, I was that, I was, so they are completely taking responsibility of the emotion of the other, of the disappointment of the other person because you didn't show up. And you can say, yeah, that's right, I wasn't there. No excuses, no explanation needed.
Can I ask a question? I
Yeah,
know there's
sure.
so many, there's so many degrees to this, right? You could say, that's right. You, on one hand, you could say, oh, I was doing this on the opposite. What about if you said, I'm so sorry that you were disappointed?
I love that answer as well, because you are not taking responsibility. You are helping this person. I love that answer. I mean, I'm doing a little bit black and white here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I
You're doing the
say,
extremes for sure.
because I want to do that because I want that people be more consciousness. I want that people wake up and don't excuse for whatever they're doing. There is a reason that you didn't come to this, and this person is disappointed, but it's not your job. It's not your responsibility to make this person happy again. And even if you make an excuse that is not true,
Mhm.
whatever it is, it doesn't make this person happy, because energy is not lying. If you are saying like, I was so busy and I was so well and this and this, the truth is it wasn't your first priority.
Right.
And for what reason? There could be many reasons. Perhaps someone of your loved ones had to go to the hospital. Then, of course, your first priority was to support this person who needed help. But perhaps your priority was to lay on the couch because you were super tired. So whatever it is, the truth is your priority was to do another thing.
Right.
This is the truth. And you are lying to yourself, by the way, if you're making stupid excuses only to make this person happy and feeling good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you are answering, I love that answer, T. I love it so much. If you say like, hey, I'm so sorry that you feel bad about this. Or, hey, thank you for taking so much care that it's so important for you. I love that it seems so important for you that I was there. Perhaps I will make it next time.
There you
This
go.
is
Right.
another way to support someone,
Right. Right.
right?
Without being untrue to yourself and without taking responsibility
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
feelings.
So
Yeah.
this is just some answers or some ideas you can give, but you will be true to yourself.
Yes. Yes. But
And you know
I
what?
love that example. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I will give you just one more example that is like how things can go wrong, because I experienced it was like, I guess, 15 years ago. It was like that. So I was working as an employee in a company, and I met a woman, and we spent the whole night together for the first time. And I was so tired that I decided not to go to work. And I called my boss and said like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm sick. So I lied and I said I'm sick.
Mhm.
So I made like an excuse, yeah, I don't know what I should have said, should have said, but what happened was the next day I was sick,
Oh,
because
wow.
it's like I lied and said I'm sorry, I'm sick. So, and that happened. Like I
And
made
you
my
brought it
first,
on yourself.
I brought it on myself. And when you are making stupid excuse like, I'm so busy at the moment, because you wanted so much to make the other person happy, to take the responsibility of the other emotions. If you are doing this, this is emotionally loaded, what you are saying.
Yes. Yes.
And then it's very dangerous, right?
Powerful.
It's powerful,
Yeah.
better word. Yeah, it's not dangerous, it's powerful. So it's because it's emotionally loaded. And
Yeah.
if you just let the other person with their emotions like disappointment, sadness, angriness, love, I love you and I want you to love me as well. And by the way, another story that happened to me, really, it happened to me. It was so crazy. That was the first time in my life that I realized it. It was 5 years ago. I was at a dinner with my girlfriend, and I sat on the table, and at the other table, there was a woman sitting. And I'm not judging about fake lips and fake breasts, but it's not my type of woman. I love a natural woman. So I love a natural woman. So I looked at her, and he had these silicone lips and silicone breasts and super strong makeup. And
Right.
I was looking, of course, you're looking around, and I saw her, and I was like, oh, wow, she's super sexy. And so I thought, like, she's super sexy. And I was so confused because I knew that that's not like my type of woman.
Right.
And I was so irritated and confused. And my girlfriend, we were like together for 4 years, I guess. She said, like, hey, what's wrong? And we were and I was like, I'm sorry, but I feel attracted to this woman, and I have no idea why, because usually I like, it's not my type of woman. And then I spent the evening, it's fine, like, because I was not like crazy. It's just, I realized, oh, wow, yeah, she's sexy. And then the evening was getting later and later. And then I realized, oh my goodness, that is her energy. She did that. And she thinks that the more she is doing all that stuff, the more sexier she is.
Yes.
And that was the emotions that I catched.
Wow.
Like, I am
Self.
sexy because I have these silicone breasts. I'm sexy because of the makeup. I'm sexy because of whatever. And this was very important for her. So this was what she was sending all the time. Like, I'm sexy, I'm sexy, I'm sexy, I'm sexy.
Right.
And I just
You caught it.
caught it, and I didn't know that it wasn't mine. And
Wow.
from that point on, I was like, okay, she is not sexy for me,
Right, right,
for me.
right. Right.
And
Wow,
I
that
was like,
clarity.
yeah, and I felt so relieved because I was like, okay, so, I know what's going on now.
Mhm.
So this
Very good.
is how it's going, and this is the same with love. This is the same with sexiness. This is the same with sadness, with angriness. Ask yourself, is that feeling mine?
Yes. And so that's the number two, right? You said number
Yeah,
one is being aware of this dynamic, which
yeah,
now, if you're still listening to us right now, there's no way you're not aware of this dynamic with these great examples that Christoph has shared. Number two is asking yourself, is this mine? And
yeah.
then I know, there's a number three, which is if you would like to experience in, um, experience in a proven simple way, right? That panoramic, what Christoph was
Yeah,
talking about, where maybe you don't
yeah.
need for very much longer those first two. Um, and I think are we ready to talk about that? Number three?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it that long,
Okay.
because check out the description, check out the link. It's the
Yeah.
Kiev diet that leads you to a completely, a completely different level of consciousness. This is what the Kiev diet is about, a complete level of different consciousness. And this is all I want to say about that. So check it out. This is in the description. There is a link. Check it out. This is what is helping you in different levels, but the most gift of that thing is, of the key of diet, is more consciousness. That's it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that will put you to a completely different level of consciousness. And this
Yeah,
is what the work is about.
absolutely.
So, T,
Yes.
is there anything else about this first line for today? I guess we are done for today.
I think we're done for today. I think I hope that if you're listening to this, as you were hearing Christoph's examples and stories, maybe you were flashing back in your own mind to different points in your life where you're like, wow, that's what was happening there. And I was taking responsibility for that because I know I was having all of these, but rather than, me share those, Christoph already shared some great examples. And I think it's great for you to think on your own. And if you want to hear more about this panoramic, this consciousness, elevating of consciousness in the key of diet, I will just also say it has completely changed my life and my ability to sort of see things coming, and like in terms of other people's emotions, and to have that clarity in the moment, which is just, it's such a blessing in life.
Yeah. So three things to do. First of all, subscribe the channel, subscribe the podcast, then share it with other people who do you think you love and you think they should know about this phenomenon. And the third thing is get your key of diet and get more consciousness. And that's it for today. Bye bye, guys. Bye.